Hey guys, SimCoder here, and today we'll be working on uploading the images that we've took in the previous lesson. So we are now able to take pictures, we are able to choose images from the gallery. All that's left is actually uploading them into our database and to Firebase storage. So that's what we'll be working on today. It will be pretty simple, so yeah, let's do it. If the video is going a little too slow for you, then feel free to change the speed of the video in the video settings. Okay, so first thing first, I'm going to explain to you how the database is structured. So in a post, we are going to have this structure. We are going to have the post collection, then a document with the user ID that is the owner of the posts. Then we'll have a collection inside that document called user posts, and inside here we will have all of the posts that the user has made. For example, we'll have the caption, which is the description of the image, the creation date, and the media URL, which is the link for the user's image. Then that image will be stored upon in storage, and you can go ahead and click on it. In here you'll have the posts, which will contain then a folder with all of the users that have created a post, and inside here we'll have an image which the user has uploaded. Okay, so in the case of I'm going to go back into our project. In this case it is this Firebase project, and I'm going to click on storage because you have to do some things beforehand. Click get started, next. Now choose the storage location, click done, and it will create a bucket for you. A bucket, it's kind of like a disk that contains everything, so it contains the same folder structure as your own PC and things like that, so it is really easy to understand. So yeah, let's get on with the code. And I'm going to open up my VS Code, and this is where we left off in the previous lesson. So we have a camera working, we have everything set up. All that we have to do now is create a save page, or a save screen better yet, which I'm going to create right now. So save.js, and this will be the component responsible for saving the image. I'm going to call RFC, using the package that we've been using the past few lessons, and there we go. Now we are ready to actually start writing some code. However, the first thing that we want to do is to be able to to pass the data from the add component to the save component. We have to pass the data of the image, otherwise we won't be able to access it. So to do this, we are going to create yet another button. Let's make this bigger. And this button will be responsible for navigating us to the save component. So let's call it save. And this take picture won't be here. What will be here is navigation, not this, dot navigate, and inside here we'll navigate to save, which we haven't created in our routes yet, but we'll do in a second, and we'll pass along arguments, the data of the image. So the data of the image in this case is image. And by doing this, the save component will be able to access image through the props. So it is really cool, and it will handle everything for us. Okay, so now going into app.js, I'm going to add the save screen, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to access it. And let's change the name to save. Let's add the component up top, importing it. So save and save. The save screen is in the same folder as the add screen, so that works nicely. Okay, so in the save.js, we are just going to console log the name of the image that we passed along in here. Okay, so we are going to, I'm just going to show you that you are able to pass props like this. So let's first of all import a view, because we can't run divs in React Native, obviously. So from React Native, and I'm going to change the divs for a view, an empty view. You don't need to worry about anything else. And I'm going to pass along props in here. Okay, so now in order to show it, I'm just going to say console log props, and we'll be able to see the image URI in here. Then another thing that we mustn't forget is in the ads.js, in the top of it. First of all, it is add, not app, and we must pass along the navigation, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to access navigation in here. So this navigation is a prop which will pass along in the app.js. So in the app.js, go below everything, go into the add screen, and pass along navigation equals to open curly brackets this.props.navigation. Okay, and by doing this, we'll be able to access the navigation inside of add.js, which will then make a call to save data to the save data screen. Okay, so then in the save, we should be able to run everything. So I'm going to deploy this and see how it turns out. Okay, so here we are in the home screen. I'm going to click add. I'm going to take a picture, and I'm going to hit save. When I hit save, I can go into my console log and see all of the data that's in props. And in this case, in the params object, you are able to see the image which contains the URI. So this is being printed out in save. That means that the prop was successfully passed along. And now this object isn't that useful to us. All that we want is this file. So in order to get it, all we have to do is say .routes, which is this object, then .params, then .image. So let's do it like that, .params, .image. And if I save it, it should auto-reload, and the string appears alone if we do this. So we are now ready to save the actual post. Okay, so in order to save the post, we'll need a couple of components, obviously, which include a text input. This text input will allow us to give a description to the image and an image. So to put it all together, I'm going to first set the style of the view to flex 1, 2 curly brackets, don't forget about that. Then I'm going to say that the image, a self-closing tag, will have a source which will be equal to URI image. In this case, I'm going to say props, routes, params, image. Okay, this is just like we did in a previous lesson. Then I'm going to add the text inputs, and again a self-closing tag, and this text input will have a placeholder, which in this case will be write, caps lock, write a caption, and the placeholder is a grayed out text that appears on top of text inputs. It doesn't have, it is just some information on what that text input does. Then we have an onChange text, we'll say that parentheses caption will be arrow function, and now we'll have to have a hook in here in order to contain the text inside the text input. So in this case, we'll say const caption set caption use state, and I'm going to create an empty screen, an empty string, so it has always something and isn't null, because the user can upload an image without a caption. So let's say set caption. All right. So that's basically it. Now all that we have to do is create a button, which I forgot to add up top actually. So button. Button, self-closing tag. Now let's set the title, which will be something like save. Doesn't need to be all that fancy. Okay, and in this case, we'll first upload the post. So we'll upload the image to the Firestore, and only then, when that process has finished, will we save the post to the database, because we must get the URL before saving the post, obviously. So in this case, we'll say onPress equals to open curly brackets, parentheses, arrow function, and in this case, we'll say upload image. Okay, this function doesn't exist yet, but we'll take care of that right now. So const upload image equals to parentheses arrow function. And I forgot the T in there, so there we go. Now we are going to handle the upload process. So the upload process, we must import first of all Firebase. So Firebase from Firebase, and we are going to require both Firestore and Firebase storage. So to do this, we're going to say Firebase and within quotes Firebase, Firestore, and Firebase. Let's clear that. Firebase storage, and it should be in here. There we go. So now we are ready to start uploading the image to our Firebase storage, and it is actually pretty simple. So let's do it really quickly. So the first thing that we'll have to do is, first of all, set this as an async function. We'll have await inside of it, so it is a requirement. And we'll say that const response is equal to await fetch URI, which in this case, this URI will be these props routes params image. So I'm going to create another variable in here called URI, which shall pass along the name of the file. So this fetch will be responsible for, as the name implies, fetching the image and getting the data from the image that's within this URI. Then we'll set a blob, which will be responsible for uploading the image. So await response dot blob. It will create a blob of this URI, which will then pass along to Firestore, which will then upload the image. Okay, so now let's create a task. And by using a task, you'll be able to know a lot of information on the upload process, which is always a good thing. So storage, and now you say ref child. So you choose where the file will be. This is pretty similar to what we do using Firestore and real-time Firebase, real-time database for that matter. So it is all of them are pretty similar in use. So in here, we don't want quotes, we want backsided ticks, and let's say post /, and now, as I've said in the beginning of the lesson, I want this folder, which in this case is the main folder of the posts, to contain a folder with the UID of each user that has made an upload. So in this case, it will be auth dot current user dot UID. Okay, and then we want to have a name in here, any name by that matter. It should be randomized. So that's what we are going to do right now. We are going to find a way to randomize these data. So in this case, we'll just generate a random number which we can place in here. So in this case, I'm going to say $, open curly brackets, and I'm going to say math.random .toString 36, and that's it. This will create a random number which will have 36 characters, and I can show you how it works. I'm going to actually remove this and pass it into a variable. So const child's path equals to this, and I'm going to console log the child path. So that should work. I'm going to replace the child by the child path, and we are now ready to actually upload it. And to upload, all you have to do is say put blob. This will tell the Firebase storage which file it is and start the upload process as soon as this runs. Okay, and then if we want to know the process, how it is going, how much has uploaded, if it has finished uploading or not, we can use this task in order to know that. It is actually pretty straightforward. We are going to create functions which will handle all of that. So task progress equals to snapshot, open arrow function, and now I'll just say console log, and in this case it will be transferred 2 points, $, open curly brackets, and it will be snapshot dot bytes transferred, and transfer has 2 R's. There we go. So this task progress will console log anytime they get a snapshot the transferred bytes amount, and we'll be able to track down how much has uploaded throughout the upload process. Okay, then we'll say task const task progress task completed, better yet, equals to open parentheses, arrow function, equals to snapshots, again, arrow function, open curly brackets, and I'm going to say that snapshots dot ref dot get download URL, open parentheses, then snapshot, open arrow function, and I'm going to console log this snapshot. So on task completed, we are going to go into the snapshot and get the download URL. This download URL will be the URL that's publicly accessible by everyone, and it is one that we can use in order to display the image that the user has just uploaded. Okay, so now I'm going to create the last one, which in this case will be task error. So if anything goes wrong, we are going to find out, obviously. It is important also. Arrow function, and I'm going to console log the snapshots so that we can see the errors. However, these functions aren't being called by anything, so they are alone without anything to do with the task. So we must put them together. So we'll say task on, and now we say when we want this task to be activated, which in this case will be state changed. So whenever the task state changes, all of these tasks will be put in order, and we'll see if they have anything to show. And now we pass along all of the tasks that we've created. So task completed and task error, like that. So let's try to upload a photo and see if everything checks out. Okay, so here we are. However, we must fix a couple of mistakes that I've made right now. The first of all, which is that we missed an import, which is use state inside React. Otherwise, it will give an error in here. The other errors that we've made are in here. So first of all, the on-task progress doesn't, on-task completed, better yet, sorry about that. On-task completed doesn't accept anything. We must access the task directly. So otherwise, if we try to access the snapshot, it won't work for some reason. I'm not sure why. But if we try to access the task directly, then it will, and we'll get the download URL. Okay. The other thing that I got wrong was that I changed the order of the task. So task completed must be at the end. So task progress, task error, and task completed. Okay, so now going into my phone, I'm going to hit save and open up the terminal. As you can see, transferred appears a lot of times. So transferred this number, and the previous one will be a smaller one, obviously. And in the end, we get the URL. So let's try to open it up. And it is a black image. So let's try to take a better image. Let's go into the code. Let's take a picture of myself. Why not? So take picture, save, hit save. And now if I go into the terminal, it should be uploaded. We get the URL. Let's hit it. And there we go. We have the image. And if we go into storage, you'll see that we get the post, then this user's ID, then a random string. And I believe I induced it in error because I said that it would create a 36 length random number. It won't. This string is the base in which the integer is represented in the string. So it doesn't have to do with the length of the string, it just has to do with the base of that string. It will generate a random number, which it is highly unlikely that the user uploads two images with the same random number, so I'm not even going to worry about that. If you have like 13 characters in here and you have 26 possible letters, then plus 10 numbers, so you do the math on that, then you get quite a big number of different possibilities for this string. So then if you hit it, you get my image. And if you go into file location, you get the storage location. So now that we have the image, all that we have left to do is to go into Firestore and actually upload the post to Firestore. Okay, so now jumping back in here, I'm going to, on task completed, I'm going to call upon another function which will create the post inside Firestore. So let's say save post data, and we'll pass along the snapshots. Okay, so now let's grab it and create another function with it. Const save post data equals to open parentheses, open arrow function. And in here, we'll handle uploading the image. So in order to upload the image, what do we need? We need the caption and the user's ID and the download URL, which we have to pass along in here. Download URL. Okay, so in order to save it, we are going to say firebase.firestore, open parentheses, then collection, and this collection will be post, then doc, and in this case it will be the firebase.auth.currentuser.uid, because remember on the earlier parts of the lesson where I explained this this data tree to you. Then we'll have yet another collection with user posts. And finally, we'll add the doc inside here. So now we say add, and we pass along all of the information that we have. So we have the download URL, we have the caption, and we want to pass along a data of creation. So to pass along a data creation, a creation date, better yet, you can call upon a function which will handle that in the backend. So firebase.firestore.fieldValue .server timestamp. So when you do this, the server will know, the Firestore will know that it has to place a timestamp in this location. That way we can know for sure when the post was created. It isn't on the client side, it is on server side, as it should be. Okay, then we say function, open parentheses, open curly brackets, and in here we'll simply say navigation dot pop to top. Is navigation. Okay, and let me just check in here. Okay, we don't have the navigation inside here, so let's say navigation. Why are we doing this navigation pop to top? We are doing navigation pop to top because these will go to the beginning routes of our navigator. So if you go into app.js, it will go to the main components and disregard every other screen that was in the middle of it, making it so that we are able to return to the main page. Okay, so now let's save it and run it. Here we are, add image, flip image, hello there, take picture, and hit save. Okay, now let's write a post, subscribe to SimCoder, and now I'm going to quickly open up our Firebase storage, Firebase Firestore, and hit save. After I hit save, let's wait up a second, and an error appears. This is because in here you don't have parentheses. It was a mistake on my part. So yeah, let's try to run it again. Hit save. It is uploading. It uploaded. And if I go into our Firestore, hit reload, let's see if anything appears. Okay, we have posts, we have user posts, and in here we have the data of these posts. So yeah, it is working as it should be. However, it isn't returning to the main screen. So let's take care of that now. And it is quite an easy fix. So if you go into app.js, we are going to add the navigation prop to save also. And inside save.js, we are going to say props.navigation. And this way, because navigation is passed along in props, we'll be able to access it in here. So jumping back into my phone, I'm going to once again take another picture. Hello there. Take picture, save, and coming back in here, let's see if everything updates. And like this video, hit save. It will start the upload process. Okay, it's returned to the main screen. Let's see if the post was also created, user posts. And there we go. We have 3 posts in here, which were all created right now. And if I grab this one, I believe it is the image that we've just taken, yeah, that is. So yeah, it is working as it should be. Now everything is uploading the image, so we are able to take an image, upload it to the database, upload it to the storage. So the only part that's left is to actually display the images and the posts, and following users, obviously. So yeah, that's all for today. If you enjoyed, then don't forget to subscribe and like. It helps me a lot, and it helps you to not miss a single video on this series. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you again tomorrow, and ciao!